Welcome to the DTU studio, dear friends. In today's episode of ROOBAROO, I bring you face to face with another alumnus of DCDTU, Mr. Tilak Raj Seth. Mr. Tilak Raj Seth is an electric engineer and a law graduate. He is an engineer to the core. He has a rich experience in management and business processes for high technology areas. And over a career span of 27 years within Siemens, he has handled several challenging assignments and held various key positions across the company. Mr. Tilak Raj Seth also heads the mobility division of Siemens Limited. Seth sir, you passed out in 1984, and as I know about you, you joined even before passing out, and before passing out you had already got the appointment, and then you shifted on. So from 84 till date you are continuously in the same organization. I must adore your sincerity, your attachment, your trust, your faith in one single organization. How do you find this journey now?
First, you should not only trust my sincerity, loyalty to remain with Siemens for so long, as you say, but must admire another quality of Siemens. It's an organization which trusts people, which gives a lot of responsibility to its employees. It creates kind of a magnetism that people like me then can stay for as long as from 84 to the period that you see now.
Oh, yeah.
Is how do you feel? It was your key question.
Yeah.
I feel that I played a good role in the organization. The organization gave me a chance to continue to learn, as they all want in anybody joining the organization. I could, from a highly technical student, as you know, our college produces, to do something in the industry, to do something in the specialized technology fields, special railway field. I feel very, very satisfied.
That's great, wonderful. It is a very important question to start off with a career, you know. Students, when they join, they take a specialization, and when they have to pass out and then they are taking their assignments, it is a big decision for them to which track they should go to. Okay, in life, at times you start off with a small lane and you finally reach a highway, and sometimes you start from a highway and you get straight on the wall to a closed lane. So what do you advise students, your younger brothers, your juniors, to go ahead?
My whole alma mater.
Alma mater.
So Anoopji, I think this is one of the most relevant questions of today's times. Kind of confusion in the mind of the engineer coming out of engineering colleges like DTU, DCE, IITs, regional engineering colleges. Should I join core engineering? Should I join disruptive startups? Should I join IT? Should I join management / business administration? I think what we need to understand is the quality of life depends naturally, progress on technology, how technology aids infrastructure to be more intuitive, more intelligent, how our livability, quality of life improves in urban settings, in suburban, in rural settings. For all this, technology plays a vital role. Now, how technology is brought to the ground also needs non-technology areas like business administration and IT. So I believe the relevance of core technology is never going to die, you know, at some points of time in the needs of very large manpower in IT area, then you know everybody like a, excuse me to say, herd wants to walk into that area, and many times in business schools, the glamour of the high salaries, you know, is perhaps makes the engineer a little bit confused. Right now, I was meeting a group of engineers, and I asked them, "What's your dream?" So somebody said, "I want to create." Somebody said, "I want to make a e-vehicle." Somebody says, "I want to become a big CEO." And somebody says, "I want to have a 6-digit salary." So I was telling them, and that I think is the answer to this question, is one must realize what goal I have in my life. I'm at position A, what do I want to do at position B? CEO, co-creator, guitarist, and plan your journey based on where you are, where you want to go. And that will tell what you want to do first. You know, and many times engineers forget their own aptitude, and when they come to core engineering organizations like ours, then they have a homecoming to they realize the engineer. Talk about me, I did also law within 1 year of passing out engineering, and many friends like you say, why don't you practice law, etc. But I remained an engineer at heart.
I also did law, but never practiced.
So I remained an engineer at heart. By and large, I feel the relevance of core technology will always remain. This does not mean the other associated fields like IT or like business administration or management will not be required. So one has to find the right connect. Take Siemens, which is is front runner on arena of technology. We work on electrification, automation, and digitalization. So within this triangle, there is nothing which is not encompassed here. Your core technology, your business administration.
Into lots of spheres of business, in fact.
We manufacture, we co-create into digitalization, we have IT, we have production automation. And all of this also requires management and business administration. So youngsters joining today in the core area, day after tomorrow, they will lead management of technology businesses. So by and large, I feel core technology is very relevant.
Because technology and trades, they keep on changing. And in today's times, they're changing fast. So lots of things are becoming more relevant, and the other things are losing their relevance and become irrelevant. In coming years, what technologies or what field do you feel would be more advantageous and more important in coming times?
I think the single thread, or one of the most important threads, which will be passing through future technologies, would be eco-friendliness. I think technologies which keep less burden on our environment, they will find long-term future, like e-mobility or like zero consumption of the aggregates in a unit geography. I think these kind of technologies, renewables and mobility, which is emission or low emission or zero emission, these technologies will find a long-term future. And the business setups which use these technologies along with a high-end digitalization, providing a digital service to the large community around customers and the customers' customers, will find a long-term future.
Like different technologies, like telephone is already, I mean the landline thing, it started off, from picking up a phone and asking for a number, and then came up with the dials, and then with the press buttons, and finally it's nearly gone. Same way, like cinema making, uh, it's from those rolls which the Kodak and those companies used to produce. Finally, the Kodak is gone because of the technology changes. Same way, the people involved in that industry, creative industry, like old directors, let's not name them, but old directors have vanished off because they were not updated to those new technologies, so they are wiped off. They are not wiped out because they were not creative. They still are creative, but they feel next technology, they have not updated themselves. So finally what they have turned themselves into corporates, companies, and now they have got into financing projects or supporting or patronizing projects, but left direction and all those things. I think same is for our students also. Like we have traditional branches of mechanical or whatever, electrical or electronics or computers. In coming times, do you suggest any trades we should be shifting into or diversifying ourselves into?
So let me relate one question asked by one of your students today morning.
Yeah.
What is your organization looking at in students of this college? Who do you hire, on what grounds? So I candidly told him that an engineering college creates relevant aptitude in people, and of course the selection process is little bit cutting edge one over the other. But by and large, what you are looking at is very high earnestness and sincerity and hunger to learn. So if you have hunger to continuously learn, then you update yourself based on what is required. Is like you very well said, we have changed from landlines to whatever mode of communication today. People, organizations, communities who keep abreast with changing times, changing technologies, applying them in a manner that aids the society, I think they keep a sustainable environment around them. So even students, I mean, the 4-year learning in the college or 6-year learning in the college is too little for life. But if you have the spirit of, as Stephen Covey said, is sharpen the saw continuously. So in today's world, as the relevance is seen today, I think the application of technology with a larger service to customer and community at large is one context that the students must quickly learn, is how to reach the benefit in terms of not your immediate customer but the customer's customers. So the application to that extent. I'm actually in this coding the scene of digitalization to whatever the technology you're touching. That's current context.
That's true, very true. Another thing, you are a different man, different in a way. Other than being an engineer, a core engineer, you have a passion for readings. And I've heard you carry that passion of reading. What to read, when to read, how to read is a very important and a pertinent question. Why do you read?
Well, I never asked myself this question since you asked me. First, what do I read? I think.
Why do you read and why should you read?
No, I come to why a little later. First, let me tell you what do I read.
What do you read?
If you are in a job setting like I have got, to find time for reading is the most precious time, if I can find some. And if one travels so much and one thinks the the time in the aircrafts or waiting in the lounge is good enough for a good reading, I think that's the reading which you didn't talk about. So let me say what I read. I think I hog the newspapers, its associated magazines completely, whether it is the weekend or whether it is the last hour of the day or the lounge of a waiting lounge anywhere. So this surprisingly has enough content which is beyond even the news, in the sense which leads with life. So what I'm interested in reading is a life. It does not end at mythology or management practice. What's life? I think that's, and I always say a reader is a creator. At the time he's reading, you know, since the mind works, human brain works only on colors and pictures, it's able to create that story. And that's why you always like the book better than the movies. You know, many times I've heard many people say that book was better than the movie. So, because you are a creator of your own movie.
Because when we read, like passionate readers, when they read, we read it and we visualize the scenes. So, and I think we visualize them better than has been created by a director.
And since Anoop, you are yourself a director as well as an actor, I think who could know it better than you, that reading gives you a picture before you translate it elsewhere.
Yeah, I also strongly believe for youngster students, yes, reading is a must. We must read, we must enjoy reading and read what we enjoy. It's not necessary to get into boring readings or whatever you find. Like I also enjoy readings. So I have moods and I read as per moods. At times I enjoy reading history, then second time I enjoy reading mythology, and at times it's science fictions. So whatever makes me that time, and I would always suggest and recommend to people, simultaneously keep 2-3 books. Don't go on for reading for one book. So keep 2-3 books simultaneously.
There are many books, maybe hundreds of them, which I have not completed, which is fine. And I think unless you are looking at a thriller where you want to reach the last page, any amount of any pages or whichever sections, they touch you with life. And I've seen there are many management books as well. Goal, for instance, is one such which is gives you a lesson on throughput through a story of human emotion and so I think what excites me in reading is how it touches me and my perspective in life.
And more than that, I mean, reading, yeah, it does help. It would surely help youngsters and students, because you don't need to experience something in life practically. Like when we say, okay, you don't need to push your finger to burn it, actually to feel the heat, but to know it out of experience. So when we read, we come to know about the experiences of life and experience of creativity, because if you are a creative person, you are a good engineer. You become a good engineer, automatically become a better person, better engineer than the commoner who is doing his repetitive task rather than doing creative things. And being a creative man, a creative engineer, you become a scientist, you innovate, you invent, and that's what a true engineer is, I suppose. And sir, you have worked hard. You are back to our campus. DTU feels proud of you, and you keep on coming every time here. Not that you are coming here for first time. You are coming here, taking placements and talking to our students. We are thankful to you as well, and God bless you with bigger success in life.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anoop, thank you very much. I feel a lot of pride in coming to the Institute anytime, and I also get a re-inspiration every time I come here, and I wish the Institute all the very best, and also personally you all the very best. Thank you.